Hello, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing just fine. Um, Today we're going to clear up everything. We're going to finish the this segment on Selena, my uncle who baptized late, and the parable. Okay, the parable of the prodigal son. Okay. Um, What I want to say, I want to put them all together now. Now that we know the prodigal son, we went over everything, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do next. Okay, which has to do with something with the comments that I'm going to do for next video. I'm put all the comments together, but I'm going to talk about that later on. Um, so what do we know about? What did we learn about Selena? Well, we learned that as far as Selena is concerned, she's doing what she wants to do. Selena has always done what she wanted to do. Okay. And I think, she's a very strong woman and she knows what she's doing. I mean, I do believe that I know that she knows the top. She has to know who's running the Jehovah Witness, because if she was by herself, I would say she doesn't know. Okay. But because you can be rich or whatever and you don't know. Okay, you still, because you believe in something, so you're not going to doubt it, and you don't want to listen. As Jehovah's Witness, you don't want to listen to anything negative about what somebody's saying. However, her husband is so individual, so broad-minded. Okay, we have to see what he's going to do too. I mean, she just did it. I'm almost sure there's going to be some how can you, I don't like to use words and then everybody doesn't agree with the way I express a certain word. So I try not to use certain words. Okay, so anyway, we have to see what happens. Maybe wait a little while and see what's going to happen as far as, but I know with both of them, they know what's going on at the top. Okay, it just reminds me some of the things that the comments, or what I read in the comments, is something I said I'll do the comments later on the next YouTube, but it was just humorous. Some of the comments that were said, although maybe truthful though. So that's what we're going to think about as far as Selena is concerned. It's really interesting how it works out. I mean, we saw the whole life thing and rooting for her. Oh, yes, you could do that. Yes, you could do that, Selena. Yes, you could do that. You don't need them. You could do this. You could do that. Then I just could not believe that I excused her when she said, "Thank you. I want to thank Jehovah God." And I was like, okay, I'm not going to listen to that. Okay, I'm not going to listen to that. You know what I mean? But anyway, I mean, usually she just got baptized. We had to, and not wait a long time, but I mean, in the next few months to see how this thing works out. And like I said, her whole family's in it. It could be her fear. There is a big fear. And another thing too is when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you also fear about life all the time, And like I said, she could be fearful for that. And, she's getting older and she's saying I don't want to be left behind. And if she never ever looked at other options or tried to find God in any other way, then she would have to, most likely she's sticking with her Jehovah Witness, So we're going to have to see that. I say within the next 3 months, let's see what happens. We have to see her husband, how he responds. Okay? That's the one thing I want to see. How he responds in the next 3 months. Okay. So we'll finish that topic for now, for this segment. Now my uncle who was he waited his whole life, and then all of a sudden he got baptized. And my brother goes, yes, he did all the bad things, and then he got baptized. Remember, it's not the true religion. So some of the Jehovah's Witnesses that I have spoken with seems sometimes like they're not really sure. Like, I remember I worked with someone in Houston. He was Jehovah's Witness. It was so nice being with the Jehovah's Witness. I'm not kidding. And we really got along. You know, of course we got along well together. We didn't have to talk sometimes. It was just like an intimacy. And he said, I want to go back. That's what he told me. He said, I want to go back. And he was so quiet and stuff. And I've heard that a lot of times. But like I'm saying, when you don't explore other things, I couldn't go back because God got me out of there. I mean, he was like, if you saw my videos, you would see there's certain people that he doesn't want in the religion, anything to do with, and he will drag you out. I can just say everybody has their own opinion of it. I believe he like dragged me out of it. You know what I mean? But there was a lot of things that there was no way in the world I was going to be in because I like entertainment. It was like, there's no way in the world I'm going to do something that's going to come in between all the beautiful things I want to do. It's not just art. I like art. I like music. I like politics. I like government. I mean, all those things that they're not about, I do like it. So they pretty much wasn't going to hold me. I didn't realize the effect. That's one thing about it is I never realized the effect it would have on me. I just knew that I wanted to free myself of this. And then I know the best thing about leaving was finding, like I said, my heaven. I mean, like my access to heaven. You know what I mean? And they can't have access to heaven. That's one thing about it is because as soon as they have access to heaven, they go, wait, you can't do that. Wait, you can't do that. And you can't question anything they say. You can't question. Like we're talking, I was thinking about like the comments. I was afraid. I was going, oh, I said so much. I said so much that I believed in, you know, and I was afraid. But, you know, as if I was a Jehovah's Witness, you know, I can't think freely like that, but we can now, and that's worth more than anything. Like our salvation is really, that's what they're holding into because they believe their salvation is the Jehovah's Witness, the Jehovah. And we stick to our salvation. And the funny thing about it is sometimes I'm not sure, and, you know, am I doing something right? Am I doing this right? Am I doing that right? But, you know, there's God that's there, you know, my access to heaven. And now we're going to, because we have to finish my uncle and then go into the parable. So we're still talking about why people like stay, you know. And like I said, it's mainly because they don't find something else. I mean, we're talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, but not all of them are on God's side. You got to look at it that way. So yes, there's some that are disciples, some that are still going to come out, some that are in and they don't want to, and they're afraid to come out or can't come out. That could be too. They can't find a way out, but we're there for them. And then there's others who really believe in it, even though they know it's wrong. I know that they know it's wrong. Like I had a brother who, I mean, it's all the way in my earlier videos where I talk about my other brother had gotten disfellowship, and he wanted to go back in. So this is still on the same topic. So he wanted to go back in, and I was with him for a little while. And I got in detail in one of my first videos about just explaining everything about me being a Jehovah's Witness. So I was staying with him because we got disfellowship around the same time. I have a brother who's been disfellowship for a long time, but me and my other brother were disfellowship around the same time. We didn't even know it. And when I knew I had to have a place to stay, I called him. I found out that he was, he got disfellowship, and I didn't even know it. I didn't know it. And I think my mother told me. yeah, I was like, but you know, it didn't shock me at all. It was like, oh, he's fellowship. So I called him and I was so happy. And I got the whole story in detail in the earlier videos. But when I got to his, he wanted to stay. He did something with someone, he was married and did something with another, somebody who was studying in his congregation. He really liked her. I even talked to her, you know what I mean? While I was at my brother's house, you know, but she would call him too. And it was in his, he was separated from his wife. But he wanted to go back, and he let me know that he wanted to go back, that he was, you know, a joke. Because he told me, like when I, and it's in detail, it was funny because he was his fellowship, and I wanted to stay in the house. This is the first time I'm giving you a little a little, something to tell you. I mean, I'm giving you a little summary of what I said about him. But anyway, I went to inside of his house, and he goes, I said, let me stay in this room. He goes, no, you can't stay there. That was my son's room. Well, let me stay here. No, you can't stay there because that was me and my wife's room. Well, let me stay in this room. He goes, no, you can't stay there. And then he goes, no, he's his fellowship. No, I don't want you to stay with me because you're bad association. I mean, he actually told me I was bad association when he was this fellowship. And I go like this. I said, okay, Daryl, he's passed, so I can, and he's old, so all over, so I can say his name. I said, Daryl, you're this fellowship and I'm this fellowship, and you're telling me that I'm bad association. He goes, yes, you're bad association, so you can't stay here. So anyway, I was helping him anyway, because when I came into his house, I said, Daryl, look it, you gotta, what is the matter? He's watching TV and taking tranquilizers. No, he goes, I walked in the house, he's just laying around. And I said, you can't do that. What are you doing? I said, the light doesn't come on. Oh, I don't pay the light. And he goes, I'm taking these tranquilizers. I said, why are you taking these tranquilizers? I'm going through so much. I said, Daryl, when was the last time you worked? Oh, 3 months ago. And I said, Daryl, like, you know, like, you haven't worked and you're taking tranquilizers. You can't do that. You just can't. You have to do something. You have to get back to work. You have to turn the lights on and all this other stuff, okay? So I'm telling him that. But anyway, later on, he told me I was bad association, so I left. Anyway, I ended up coming back. You'll see when you see that tape. So anyway, so we have those people who are like that. There's no way in the world Daryl would find another way. I mean, I could just tell, because I was his brother, and he's not going to seek anything else. Because look it, I'm trying to tell you, I keep doing this thing right here because it's important. This is their mind. The only way that the governing body can actually control people's mind is they have to have a book. Believe me, they have a book about how to do it. If they don't have the book, they can't do it. And the thing about it is, with the book, the way that they taught, nothing connects. So if nothing connects, that means they can't reason. They can't go from one section to another. So people like my brother, the reason why he would stay in, because it doesn't connect. Nothing connects. They don't have the functionality to connect one concept to another concept. It's like my sister too. She's very highly intelligent, but when it comes to salvation, she can't connect one thing to another. So that's a major reason why they stay in. I have another sister. It's about her too. It's in the earlier videos too. My older sister Annie, and she went out and she wanted to come back again too, because there's nothing there. When they come out, they don't. Some people who come out, they don't. You have to find some salvation. We're human beings. Human beings have to. They need something to believe in. Okay, and if you don't find God and you don't find your heaven, your access to heaven, I'm so happy I found that, because that term, because it really helps me out too. If you don't find it, you don't have anywhere else to go, so you stay back in. And my uncle, he never found anything else. He just listened to my aunt all the time. So he thinks that's his salvation. Okay. I don't know what happens to those people, but that's another video. So now we're going to Prodigal Son. The Prodigal Son. Okay. The way Jesus spoke. Okay, like when we did the video on the way he spoke, okay, and I gave you my opinion of what was happening, that was new, that was fresh, that was my opinion. And that's what the Bible is about. For somebody else who reads it, they'll read something else into it. But as a Jehovah's Witness, you can't do that. You have to go according to what they say. You know that, okay? So it was funny. A lot of times what I do is when we're talking about Prodigal Son, now we're going to do this Prodigal Son. You see how everything is coming together. The Prodigal Son, okay, taught me how Jesus thinks, for instance. And there's another point that we never realize. When Jesus is there, God is there. So I was telling you, okay, we have these poor people, and then these bosses come in, okay? Don't you know that he cannot, because Jesus is just like everybody else, you know? He couldn't just say what he was telling the people. Him and the people were on another level. And you ever have a boss come in and then you're still talking to your friends, and you're on another level and they're on another level, but you can still talk to them by using certain things and certain terms, and the boss would never find out. So that was just like Jesus. You know, had the teachers come in, he mentioned heaven, and I know the only thing that the people could really make them strong and happy was that they had access to heaven. So he's telling these people that they have access to heaven. They don't need the teachers and stuff like that. Of course, he's going to show those bosses something that they're talking about. But there's another thing to it that I was thinking. Oh yeah, another thing too. Whenever you hear about Jesus giving parables and everything, picture yourself as one of the people. You don't have anything. Picture that. Always, that's how I did it with the parable. I pictured like me, like one of the people that didn't have anything and just listening to him. That's all. That's where I got the access to heaven, because I would need that. And then I could say, wait, I could do so many things with that. I have an access. That means I'm a person with the power, you know what I mean? My own power, you know, power of God. You know, if I need something, I can ask him, or I can learn and stuff like that. I don't have to have the teacher and everything like that. So that's why I came up with that, which is true. I mean, it's just true, but it's still my opinion. Okay, so now we finished. Oh, because another thing too, okay, I was reading 16 also, Luke 16. That's why I'm saying that you really you need yourself with the heaven, with the access to heaven to read certain things in the Bible, because I was reading 16 and I was going, why would he say this? Why would he say this thing? Okay, but forget about 16 for now. We're still going to finish the parable. I'm not going to change the subject. Now the parable. Okay. Now the parable was actually told when the bosses came in. Okay. But there's something very shrewd, I guess, that I can say the way Jesus was talking, because he mentioned the parable, and there's one point I want to say, God's there also. Okay. And if God is there, first of all, Jesus opens if you're talking to Jesus, he's going to open your access to heaven, okay? Because you're connected with him, okay? But it's up to you to have the access to heaven. You don't have to listen, or you could listen. So anyway, so if they have an access to heaven, you know the Father is listening to the people, okay? So when he's telling you the parable, okay, and I'm sure those people, when they heard the parable of the prodigal son, because when I heard it, I was very honest with myself. And and Jesus detailed a very bad person, you know what I mean? I mean, just his root was bad, okay? He didn't change his heart or anything, okay? And he detailed it for you. So if Jesus is detailing, he's doing it for a reason. Remember, the Father is there with them, listening to how we take in the story. And I was saying to myself when I heard it, I was saying, this person is not really a good person. I mean, he spent all of his money, which is no big deal to spend your money, but he didn't think about his father. He thought about to get out of his situation. Not one time did he go, oh, I want to see my father again. The father was happy that he came, but he didn't say anything about the father. The father, as soon as he saw him, he goes, oh, there's my son. But he didn't realize that the son, but the one point that I'm trying to bring is that God was there listening to how the people took in the story. What did the people say? Did the people say, oh, I'm so happy. I mean, wow, we could do this and we can do that. But the only thing that caught me was when the son said, well, why didn't you do this for me? The most beautiful thing about the whole parable was when the father said, you are always with me. And that was the most beautiful part of the whole parable. But everybody else got so excited about the prodigal son and how he got accepted back. But to me, the most beautiful part of the parable was about the parable was the son that came to the father and said, what about, I stayed with you all this time. And when the father told the son, I always have you and you're always with me. And that to me was the most beautiful part. But what part does everybody else want? The Jehovah Witnesses? Oh, the parable. Oh, the prodigal son came back to the father. But did he really come back to the father? He never really came back to the father. The father wanted him, and he did everything to get to the son. But the son came back because he came back for his wealth. You know what I mean? I mean, it was beautiful that he came back, but not one time. And God revealed exactly how the son's heart was. Just go over the parable and see how God detailed the son's heart. Okay? So anyway, that's what I got from the parable. Now, what are we going to do next? The next thing, I'm going to take the comments. I have to get all the comments together, and we're going to remember, I don't use the names or anything or the titles of who's saying the comments, but they're in the comments. You can look. And then I'm going to read the comments and see what we're going to do next. And I appreciate my comments. It wouldn't be my station if I didn't have the beautiful comments. Sometimes the comments scare me, and I go, oh no, I gotta read the comments. Oh no, I gotta read the comments. But I love the comments, and next time I'm gonna read the comments, and from there we're gonna find out where we're gonna go next. Thank you very much. You know what I was thinking, because you always see me like this. I was thinking about doing something like this, like a talk show or something like that. I don't know how I would do it. I mean, because, I like to change up all the time. So I don't know if you would like this better, like I'm talking, but that doesn't look good either. So anyway, I try and think, anyway, we're getting ready to change rooms because there's things that are changing here. So I decided to change this room. And so I think it's nice because it'll be a little bit different atmosphere. If you notice from my last videos, I've moved maybe two. This is the third time I moved. Because my first one, I started the videos, I was over in Virginia, and then I moved again, and now I'm not moving, but I'm moving to another room. Okay. I would tell you the details, but it's somebody else, so I can't explain their details, so I'm not going to do that. Anyways, very nice talking with you, but there's one other point that I'm going to make, and that is our trip. We have to do it. We have to do our trip. And we got more people, and it's going to be done in an ex-Jehovah Witness way, okay? Remember, okay, because we have certain talents The ex-Jehovah Witnesses have different kind of talents. I'm not putting anybody else out, but if you're in here, you're an ex-Jehovah Witness. Even if you're a Jehovah Witness, I'm sorry. When you're a Jehovah Witness and you come here, you're actually an ex-Jehovah Witness. If you're from another religion and you want to see how ex-Jehovah Witnesses are, you're an ex-Jehovah Witness. So I'm not excluding anybody. Anybody who comes to my channel is like an ex-Jehovah Witness. It's just like, you know, like when you come to America, the whole general idea, actually, when you go to another country, you're actually a citizen of that country. They permitted you to come there. So you're actually a citizen of that country. Maybe it's a temporary citizen, but you belong to that country. Okay, so that's the concept. So everybody is ex-Jehovah Witnesses, but it's going to be done in an ex-Jehovah Witness way for us to get together. We know how difficult it is for us to get together, but I'm hoping that everybody, I'm almost sure there'll be people, but the way I would do it, one person can come and it'll be so much fun. No matter how many people come, even if it's just me, it's gonna be so much fun, okay? Because if it's just me, that makes it next year after spring. Remember, not summer, but after this day of spring. So that's about a year. If it's just me, then we're gonna have I'm gonna have my YouTubes there, so I can't go wrong. But you gotta follow all of the conversation that we have to make it to this get together. And I know it's gonna happen because I pray all the time. And whenever I have a lot of people to deal with, a lot of people, like now, excuse me, you really have to pray about it because you're affecting other people, you're listening to other people, people are listening to you, so you need help. You know, I can't do this by myself. So if I say I'm going to do the YouTube, if I keep doing the YouTube, of course, it's going to be done in a perfect way. Yes, did I say perfect? Yes, I mean perfect, okay? So thank you very much. I love you all and take care. Hang in there and look forward to the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.